What's up, my Wimbly Womblies and members of the Ginyu Force? I'm kidding. Fuck the Ginyu Force. But in all seriousness, folks, welcome to the stream. This is Marlon here, and this is actually, I wouldn't call it a national weather discussion, but more like the winter storm coverage throughout the contiguous United States of America. How you guys doing? Well, for me, it was hectic because let's just say I had a lot of things to do, and it was so much that I couldn't squeeze in the time to do this earlier today. But anyway, aside from that, hope you guys have a good day, or hope that you guys have better days ahead. But let's just say that weather-wise, it is crazy. I mean, so far I haven't even gotten 1 inch of snow on the ground right now, and that's within the New York City tri-state area. So for those of you who are just tuning in, you can feel free to let me know what part of the country or what part of the world that you guys live in right now, and see if you guys are in the danger zone. So right now, we currently have a bunch of warnings all over the United States. We have 307 active weather alerts, 1 special weather statement. I don't know, for some reason they're divided, but there are 6 others there. And look at this, 290 winter weather alerts. 99 of them are winter storm warnings, in which case they're pink. Then you have an ice storm warning. You have your winter weather advisories, winter storm watch, freeze warning, freeze watch, 7 extreme cold watches, and from what it looks like, 30 extreme cold warnings. There are 10 flood advisories, and nothing much for fire, marine, or non-precipitation type of alerts. So before we can zoom in, we're just going to take a look at the overall picture and take a look at things in a synoptic view. We do have areas of high pressure dominating throughout portions of the Northeast, like the Adirondacks, you can see, and as well as Wisconsin and parts of the Great Lakes region, and as well as for folks in Minnesota. Another area of high pressure located in the northern Rockies, but just to the south and ahead of the cold front. And there are a bunch of low pressure centers all across the southwest. Southern Texas with the stationary front sneaking through southern Texas, the entire Gulf Coast, and through central Florida. And I believe that we do have another stationary front sneaking through Alabama, Mississippi, Tennessee, Georgia, and parts of North Carolina. Another area of low pressure just near LA. And throughout much of the West, not much action's going on, but there are a few active weather alerts in the Pacific Northwest. Well, we'll get to that momentarily. We're not going to do much of the national weather discussion like I've done like many times every time when I do that. We're gonna look over throughout parts of the country that are getting walloped by this system that's plaguing throughout places like the desert southwest, like New Mexico, all the way to what will be the Northeast. So any questions, feel free to let me know. We're going to be streaming up until 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It is currently 7:04 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And for those of you who have never watched the stream, welcome. Well, during the usually when I do the national weather discussion, I would start off with active weather alerts. Then I start off then I continue with the synoptic view of the country. Then we go here to the Northeast, where the entire Northeast is under a winter storm warning, as you can see, folks, like literally everywhere. Yep, literally almost everywhere, though there are winter weather advisories in the northern tip of Maine, along with the cold weather advisory there. And there are more of which just located throughout the southern part of Maine and northern New England and the Adirondacks. All because temperatures are very, very frigid. They're about as life-threatening as you get. Just taking a few sips of my Frosty, folks, because for some reason it melted. Because I mean, I was in a rush to try to get this ready stream. So far, we've got plenty of snowfall occurring in the mid-Atlantic states. Just a little bit of snow showers in the southern part of the Keystone State in southern New Jersey. Yeah, Delaware and Maryland. But Virginia on the south side, there are more moderate to heavy amounts of snow happening right now in the past hour. And as well as for folks in southern West Virginia. But more of which they're going to be on their way. Just hold on a minute. Never mind. They're actually moving to the northeast, folks, so you can see. And folks in North Carolina, there are a lot of snowfall. Yeah, there's a lot of snow that's going on throughout much of North Carolina and the northern part of Tennessee. So far, I don't see anyone on the chat so far. But look at this. We have ice storm warnings throughout the south, as you can see. Whoop, didn't mean to do that. This circle thing, as you can see, folks. That's not what I wanted to do. But regardless, this is very serious, folks. Folks down south, they are dealing with a full brunt of ice storms like freezing rain and sleet. In my opinion, folks, freezing rain is a lot worse than snow because freezing rain does a lot more damage than snow since you get so much slick on the roads, on the pavement, and even on the grass. And when it comes to power outages, whenever you have at least a quarter-inch of freezing rain, that tends to create a massive problem. And when you get to about a half an inch of freezing rain per hour, then that gets very, very serious. So serious that all that snow and all that rain freezes on contact once it hits the power lines, and all that forms icicles. But then once the icicle that gets thicker, it becomes heavier, and then the power lines start giving way. Then you end up with a power outage. Unbelievable, folks. Unbelievable. South Carolina under an ice storm warning, as well as for folks in Atlanta. They're currently dealing with rain over there, but ice storm warnings are in effect once temperatures start to dwindle all the way to below freezing at the surface. Well, of course, there still will be plenty of above freezing air to deal with. You have a stationary front there. You have plenty of warm air that's locked in. And then you have cold air just right on the opposite side. And more cold air. Well, it's just some mid-latitude type of air. And then you have some semi-tropical air coming from South Florida. But yet this one right here, this does tend to be a major problem. And you get plenty of warm air that's still there. But then cold air starts moving in. But yet all that warm air still won't have its temperatures to go down to below freezing, which tends to create all this problem right here, folks. Alabama, much of Alabama and southern Mississippi and southern Louisiana, they are dealing with some warm rains. But for folks in southern Tennessee to Alabama, northern Alabama, northern Mississippi, all the way to Arkansas, northern Louisiana, and as well as much of Texas, dealing with some freezing rain right now, affecting places from Chattanooga to Florence, Tupelo to Greenwood, Yazoo City, Monroe, Shreveport, Tyler, Dallas, Abilene, Midland, as well as Austin and San Antonio. Those folks over there, please do exercise caution and stay safe out there if you had to go. But for the best bet, stay home, because freezing rain is dangerous, much more dangerous than snow. Because when it comes to freezing rain, I mean, I don't know if I already, think I've already mentioned this many times, but it's better to stay home just so that you don't end up slipping and getting yourselves hurt or worse. And especially when it comes to driving as well. This is not really much of a reactionary type of a national weather discussion. This is more of like an overview of what we're dealing with, folks. For folks from Charleston to Savannah, special weather statements in effect, where windy conditions are there, with winds gusting to up to 35 miles an hour along South Carolina and the coastal part of Georgia. All that has to do with the system that's caused by what's going on right now with this winter system. Huge contrast in temperature gradient, temperature difference, which tends to lead to some greater temperature gradient. I mean, it gets really warm down south, but it gets really cold once you get up to Raleigh, to Greensboro, and Johnson City. There are lots of ice storm warnings all the way to Texas. Winter weather advisories are in effect, especially in Eagle Pass, Texas, south of Uvalde, and around Nuevo Laredo, Kingsville, and Corpus Christi. Plenty of snow in the eastern New Mexico to the panhandles of Oklahoma and Texas, and as well as for folks in northern Oklahoma, northern Arkansas, although right now it has turned to snow instead of just being freezing rain and sleet. Then you work your way up north to the Ohio Valley, where it's mostly snow. All of it is just light to moderate snow. Moderate means it's the blue one, folks. Whew. Looky here. Not what I want to do. Now I gotta take a look at that, folks. Oh, I see flood watches. Okay. I'm going to see what's going on with flood advisories, folks. Ice jam. Okay, so there are ice jams. That's because whenever you have partially melted snow or cracked ice that's formed along rivers, which tend to flow right between its banks, which does lead to water rising all along the riverbanks of places like Kankakee, Illinois, all the way to Big Prairie, Michigan. Winter weather advisories are in effect from Detroit to Chicago to Bloomington and Kirksville, Missouri, St. Joseph, just north of Kansas City, and as well as for the northeastern and northwestern parts of Kansas, or western parts of Kansas.